On this week's Ring of Honor, we're drafting the best sound bites in Ottawa Senators history, and it's gonna be...
That's absolutely sick.
You're Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome to episode 8 of the Ring of Honor. I'm Ross Levitan alongside Brandon Piller and the Martian here discussing the best sound bites in Ottawa Senators history. This is a Ring of Honor that's been a long time coming. Basically, since we got the soundboard, we've been obsessed with little clips, the funny ones, the witty ones, and, well, everything in between. So, before we get to that, let's take a peek at where we're at now. We're going to do 10 this offseason, and right now through 7, seems like it's going to be a heated debate all the way to the finish line. 3 wins for Martian, 3 wins for me. Pilsy, you got any?
I got the one that matters most. I got best scrappers. Let's go.
Okay, well, it's going to be a dogfight then the rest of the season. Martian, how are you doing, sir?
You know, I'm a little under the weather today, but I'm doing great, Ross. I'm feeling pretty good about this Ring of Honor. I'm excited. We're up nice and early. I've got tea time later. Going to get some vitamin D going. I think I'm pretty excited about how this is going to go this morning here, Ross.
Give me a quick thought on the Michael Andlauer press conference from yesterday before we get into it, because Pilsy and I did a full episode. People can go back and watch that from Friday. I should say Friday, as we're recording here Saturday morning. But what were your thoughts on that? Felt like it hit every note, hey?
Yeah, I mean, obviously super refreshing to have an owner who has a sense of humor like that. He came across super down to earth. I think it was a really good first impression, and I think there's going to be more to come. And I know we're going to be doing, the best quotes from Sens history today. And I'm sure if we did one a year from now, Michael Andlauer may be on there somewhere as far as, having some great quotes, because it seems like he's not shy at all. And I think, he's just, he seems like a genuine, people person. So I think some of his quotes that might come in the future, it'll be a little different from our former owner in the way that it'll be a soundbite, but it won't be a negative one. It'll just be kind of funny.
Yeah, that's for sure. There could be one of those sound bites in today's draft, Martian. We don't even have to wait for a year. It's possible. So that's a good timing on us.
Before we move forward, we always look back. Last week's Ring of Honor was the best of last season before we turn the page with training camp and looking ahead. And I was dominant in this one, 61%. And Pilsy had 20.2%.
Another second place finish for the boy.
Okay, so you're admitting that you're second place. So there's no beef you guys happen to have with one of my picks?
Whoa. Slow down here. We've got some beef. I think Pilsy and I both agreed that we need to have a little bit of discussion here about your first overall pick in this draft here, Ross. I do believe the title is best on ice Sens moments of the season. Yeah, on ice moments. Pardon? Go ahead. Alfie never stepped on the ice, and you.
Yeah, I mean, we could have done best carpet moments. That would have been a great pick for best on carpet moments.
Ring of Honor draft best moments from the Ottawa Senators 2022-23 season. I don't know where you guys are seeing this.
We had a discussion prior.
Martian, I was ready for this.
Okay. Well, I've got a nice rebuttal all set.
Look at this.
Does it look like both of us say on ice moments? Okay. Confirm or deny? I got the receipts. I got the receipts.
Here's where you went wrong, Ross. I know your moment overall was the home opener, which would have been accepted because we picked games as well. I picked the 1,000 games for Derek Brassard. Pilsy picked the 1,000-point game for Claude Giroux. Those are moments that occurred on the ice. Where you went wrong was your wording of your pick, where you went out of your way to put in Daniel Elferson at the home opener, which then all of a sudden changes it from an on-ice moment to a not on-ice moment. It changes it to on a carpet moment, is what we're saying.
Well, I was just listening actually back to the episode. I would implore everyone to go to about the 6-minute mark from last week's Ring of Honor, where Pilsy goes, that would have been my pick as well. So I guess if it's good enough for me, good enough for you, or we're setting different standards for each other, I guess if you only have one win in the Ring of Honor, you're allowed to, make different picks.
Woulda, shoulda, coulda. That's all hypothetical.
I would have made that pick, and Martian said, quote, that was the most hype moment from last season. Those are the quotes. So what happens in between the boards in an NHL arena? Is that where usually on ice happen?
I mean, if we're getting really technical here, Ross, we said on ice moments, and technically your moment never stepped foot on the ice.
I mean, technically, Alfie was carrying the puck. If you want to get right down to technicalities, Alfie was carrying the puck that he dropped.
Was the puck covered in ice? Was the puck?
Yeah, I'm sure there were some spreads of snow on it right after the ice. After Patrice Bergeron and Brady Tkachuk had their little face-off, but I don't know. The people spoke, and I think that I'm holding on to that win. If people want to get in the comments and we want to rehash this in Kangaroo Court a full episode, we can. But the people have spoken. I think we're cutting into episode 8 Soundbites here, where we don't have to because it was pretty clear-cut victory.
I think in this case, we're going to let you get away with it, but don't think we're not watching out for you going forward with the way you're wording your picks here, because there was a clear pandering to the Ottawa Senators fans by putting Daniel Alfredsson in it when Daniel Alfredsson never stepped on the ice. You went out of your way, Ross, to make sure that Alfredsson was mentioned in your pick. You know how this works. You know how the people vote. As soon as they see that word that starts with an A, Alfie, they automatically, the brain goes, well, that's the front runner right there.
Okay, well, just because of the way you guys are acting, you're allowing me to make the decision. I will be going first, and because of the way you guys are acting, my first overall pick.
So you're an expert.
Andy Sutton. Because you two seem like experts over here. So I'm going with Andy Sutton. So you're an expert. It was maybe the biggest hit in Sens history, which we could do a whole Ring of Honor on. But Andy absolutely destroyed Jordan Leopold on the Pittsburgh Penguins. And after the game, Penguins media weren't having any of it. They said, so you got your elbow up. And he goes, are you asking me or are you telling me? And he goes, well, you got your elbow up. It's in the replay. So then he hits him with.
So you're an expert.
All-time quote, Andy Sutton. So you're an expert. It's going to live on forever. First overall pick in this Ring of Honor.
Yeah, and that was a lot of fun when we interviewed Andy Sutton and we got him to talk about that because he was like, honestly, looking back at it, maybe I was a little aggressive, but I was just heated that this nerd boy reporter was trying to tell me how to play hockey. So that's essentially what it all boiled down to. He just didn't want to hear it from this guy standing behind the screen and making notes on his little pad when he's out there on the ice dishing out the hits.
I love that one because it was like right after the game, basically.
Yeah,
so
he was hot.
He was still super fired up, obviously. Yeah. And the best part about it is the more aggravated he got, you could see the Sens PR. I'm not sure if it was Chris Moore at the time or not, where he basically put his hand in there. And he goes, "Okay, we're done. That's enough." Yeah. He knew Andy was getting close to possibly getting physical with this reporter who was asking those questions. So yeah, it was hilarious. I love that one.
I don't like the reporter's chances in that one. I don't care who he is.
Yeah.
No, that's a big boy. Ross, you never announced who's picking second or third.
I know. I was too fired up. I'll go with, you know what? Mr. Second Place. Pilsy can pick second.
All right. Whew, okay. That definitely was one of the top ones. So I got to think about which one I'm going here. And
are you guys okay with that pick, by the way?
Yeah, yes. I like it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good pick.
I want to make sure that we're okay with it.
Yeah. All right. I'm going with this. The captain of the Ottawa Senators asked in a media scrum in the locker room, so you guys are down in this series. You think you have a chance to come back? Probably not.
Probably not.
I mean, that is for the leader of a sports team in the playoffs to be at, like, he could have fluffed that up. He could have given, we're gonna get back to practice. We're gonna take a look at what's wrong. He could have gone with the typical hockey guy answer. We're gonna work as a team. We're gonna try to figure out how to get this done. We're gonna battle. We're not done yet. And in just an all-time, maybe Alfie is mortal after all. Just probably not. And I remember when that happened, I was furious. I was so upset. I was like, come on, are you kidding? But in hindsight, like, you got to give it to him. That was the correct take. The Sens were not coming back in that series.
Probably not.
It was the reverse Mark Messier guarantee. He's just, Elfie's just honesty, right? He's pure honesty. He's a leader, but like even he couldn't contain himself in the media after that emotional loss. They lost 7-3 that night, so he was obviously pretty rattled to begin with. And they asked him that question. He's just like, no, probably not, just to be honest. And I mean, that's just a hilarious answer. He'd probably take that one back, though, I think.
I don't know the way Alfie is. I don't know if he takes that one back. But
he was right. Everyone in the hockey world knew this team was not coming back in that series.
No, they definitely weren't. That was a brutal series against Pittsburgh. But yeah, I like the pick, Pillsy. That's a good pick. Marcia, what do you got?
All right. Well, I'm going right into it here too, and I've got 2 picks in a row here, so keep that in mind. I think with my first pick here, I'm going to go with a GM quote. This one's from Pierre Dorion. And this was heading into the 2018 season. And Dave Amber was sitting down with Elliot Friedman and Pierre Dorion. And Dave Amber asked Pierre Dorion what he's most optimistic about going into this season. And the answer was, well, we're a team. We're a team. And that's the end of the quote. That's all he could come up with. It was hilarious. Everybody knew going into the season the Sens were going to be horrible. And obviously including Pierre Dorion. And just another, Freudian slip, as Ross likes to call it, where he said the quiet part out loud. And it was pretty funny because you don't expect to hear that from a GM before the puck even drops going into the season. So that was a really funny quote, and one that we still use to this day or reference to this day. So we're a team with my first pick.
We're a team. That was great. I think the pause.
Yeah, it was all about the pause because they do the tight shot on Dorion too, and the gears are going, and that's what he came up with. Hey, I've said a bunch of stupid stuff and just saying stuff just to say stuff because you're on, but. You could have gone a lot of different other ways with that one. So that's what I was deciding between. Probably not, and we're a team, so that's the natural 3rd overall pick.
Yeah, it is.
All right, thank you for validating that because I wasn't really sure if I was going to go there or go with this next one, which is another one that I do believe Ross should have the soundbite ready for, and this is a Guy Boucher classic. And, you could go 2 ways with this quote because there was a secondary quote with this one that is also pretty funny. But I've got to go with the original, and that is...
Rest is a weapon.
Thank you, Ross, for being on cue there. Yes, rest is a weapon. Obviously a hilarious line and one that was completely overused by Guy Boucher in his tenure as the Senators coach. Remember him giving them those, alternate days off all the time and, like, just letting them not practice, essentially, in those seasons. So... I'm going with rest as a weapon as my second overall pick in this draft, and that would be 4th overall. Thank you.
My reaction to that is similar to Pierre Dorion's after the season. If I hear rest as a weapon one more time, I might go crazy, and that's kind of where I stand on that quote. I've heard it enough, but it's definitely worthy of mention here.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many. Like, Guy Boucher was a quote machine, and yeah, that's definitely a good one. The boys must have loved that, though. Like, hell yeah, Guy, rest is a weapon. I'm going golfing. We already know how to play the 1-3-1 system. We don't need to practice.
Yeah, Guy, I'm feeling great. Keep giving us days off. It's amazing for my game.
We got 7 defensemen. Why do all of us need to practice?
I like that. Now, I will say that looks really good on the quote board. So you got that going for you, Mark. Make sure everyone's voting on Twitter at Sens Central. Let us know who's team you like best once it's all in the mix. Marcia, I like your 2 picks, though. Pillsy, you're up.
All right. Well, my next pick has already been featured in this episode, so I feel a little bad doing it, but it's so good. I have to keep it, and I was nervous that this is where you were going, Martian, but you left this one for me, so I will take it. Scoring 4 goals in the playoffs is quite a feat. I mean, there's multiple different ways you could describe it. When asked about it, Ross, ready with this one. When asked about it, Guy Boucher simply said,
"That's absolutely sick."
4 goals, that's absolutely sick. And I mean, that's one word. And the soundbite doesn't quite do it justice, because you need to see the video and you need to see, again, the pause. The pause is important with this one. And then the sly smirk by Guy Boucher as he says that. All time. I mean, 4 goals. That's absolutely sick. That lives on forever.
Wow, I think you've actually got me to change my next pick because I got 2 at least. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have. I don't know if it's worth it though. But that is a good Guy Boucher quote. I might save it for the honorable mentions, but remind me, because we could probably do a bunch of Guy Boucher ones. But that one is extremely good, where he's just so sly with his confidence, cockiness after Jean-Gabriel Pageau erased the 5-3 deficit, scores the 4th goal with his eyes closed on a 2-on-1 in overtime, where there is no chance, 0% chance he's passing the puck to Tommy Wingles. No doubt.
Yeah, I mean, you guys pretty much said it all there. It was a hilarious moment, and coming off a high of a big victory too. So yeah, I love that one.
Okay, I can't believe this is still on the board, and maybe we've overused it on this show, but it's so good. I just need you to hear it in its entirety after Brendan Lemieux bit Brady Tkachuk.
I don't even know what he's thinking. He's just a complete brickhead. He's got nothing up there. Bad guy, bad player, but what a joke he is.
Like, that's all time. And it actually goes even longer than that. He gave about a 1.5 minute answer talking about how nobody respects him. He's hanging on in the league. Like, that rant was so raw and so, like, I genuinely hate this human being. It was amazing. And again, the theme for mine is players right after the game when the emotions are still high. They don't have time to think about it or anything. They're just in the mix. And I think a lot of ours are actually the probably not, and the 4 goals. That's absolutely sick.
That's when the good quotes come.
Yeah.
It's like when the guys are still emotional.
Yeah, I got complete brickhead going as my second pick here in the Ring of Honor for best sound bites. Any thoughts on that before we hit a quick break and then get back and reset before the second half of the draft?
Yeah, I just love it because, like, as much as, like, we all saw that moment, we all were like, oh, Brendan Lemieux, what a dirty dog. We all watched that, and then we hate him even more because Brady hates him so much. Like, it's so clear that Brady's disgusted by this guy. Like, there's no chance in hell he ever becomes an Ottawa Senator. We can say that. And, like, his hatred basically boosted the rest of the fan base's hatred, I feel like, too, because it was pretty obvious that he just, like, he's not having Brendan Lemieux even a bit.
Martian, that guy might not be even in the league in a couple of years. Babies don't even do that.
That was a part of it too.
Babies don't even do that.
That was maybe, like, I mean, Brickhead was obviously the best part of the quote, but that one could be up there too. Babies don't even do that.
Babies don't even do that. Come on, fella.
Got him.
God, yeah, like, how do you come back from that? Seriously. Before we reset, Pills, you got a quick word from our friends at Bird Dogs.
Oh, I was hoping it was Bird Dogs, Ross, because Bird Dogs, that's the key to looking and feeling good in the summer. Now, you guys might be thinking, hey, Pillsy, it's September. Summer's almost over. Well, I don't know about in Ottawa and Winnipeg, but here in Collingwood, it's been nice, hot weather. I'm stretching short season. It's been 25 degrees. So, Martian, you're about to hit the golf course. You can get your Bird Dogs on for that. Ross, you're taking Alfie for a walk. Get the Bird Dogs on. You can wear the joggers or the shorts. They look good. They feel good. The stretch khaki shorts are designed to fit slimmer through the thigh and leg. So you get that truly sculpted look that Alfie would have if he was wearing Bird Dogs when he's out there playing pickleball. And Bird Dog is my favorite shorts, period. Put that on the Ring of Honor soundbites, Ross. Bird Dogs are my favorite shorts, period. And they'll be your favorite shorts too. Again, I love the anti-stink sweat wicking fabric that keeps you cool and dry all day long. So go to birddogs.com/LockedOnNHL or enter promo code LockedOnNHL at checkout for a free Bird Dogs water bottle with your purchase. That's birddogs.com/LockedOnNHL for a free water bottle at checkout. You won't want to take your Bird Dogs off. We promise you.
All right, welcome back to the Ring of Honor, the best sound bites in Ottawa Senators history. A reminder, you can follow the show on Twitter at Sens Central. Follow the Martian at Laleem's Martian. You can follow Pilsy at Brandon Piller 1. I am at Ross Levitan. That is all on Twitter, but here we are on YouTube. Hit a subscription, Martian Media, and to the Locked On Senators podcast. Okay, before we get back to the Ring of Honor, how did we get here to the second half? And we got to shout out Doodling Daryl, the man, the myth, the legend, for coming up with this new graphic. We got the photos going up here because we had some where it was like, hey, you know, you just have your names there. Depending on what order you draft, it's a little difficult to see. So he came out and got us every single combination we can. So it'll read left to right. So I've got You're an Expert, Andy Sutton, and I've got the complete Brickhead speech from Brady Tkachuk. Pilsy's got Probably Not, and 4 goals. That's absolutely sick from Guy Boucher. And Marshy's got We're a Team from Pierre Dorion, and Rest is a Weapon from Guy Boucher. 2 Guy Boucher-isms right there. I'm tempted, but I don't know. I don't know if I'm going to be that guy to go out. Actually, you know what? I'm going to do it. You know what? I've used it enough. I'm going to do it.
Do it.
It's the sly way he says it. I wonder what people think of the trade now. After Alex Burrows got traded to Ottawa, there was just complete – everyone remembers the feeling around the team. I had to delete some tweets because I was the biggest Jonathan Dahlen super fan in the world. Don't even get me started on the extension that Burrows signed right away. But he scored 2 goals in his first game against Colorado. And it was, hey, what did you think of the game? It was like a general question. And he gives this look. I wonder what people think of the trade now. The snarl, unreal. So I got to go with Guy Boucher. 3rd Guy Boucher quote.
He was a quote machine. There's no denying.
Yeah, and that one, Ross, was awesome too, because that's when the popular meme of that time was it goes to black and white, and then the I forget which song it is, but it's like gangster rap. I think it's like a Dr. Dre song, and then the sunglasses come on, and that would just worked out perfectly for Guy Boucher there.
That was a ridiculous moment. I can't believe it. For a 4th liner, wonder what people think of the trade now. Hilarious.
And like that had to have been a meaningless game. Like,
oh, of course. No, that was the year they made the conference final.
But up against the Colorado Avalanche, like it's not like that was like a heated rivalry. And one of those 2 goals was an empty netter. Like,
yeah, it was like the first game after the trade deadline or something like that.
Yeah. Oh man, so good.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's mine.
Nice one.
All right. I'm up here.
Yep.
All right. I'm going unconventional here, but I think this should still play. You guys can try to dispute it if you want, but I think this should still play. So
love when Pilsy goes unconventional.
Especially in the last 2 rounds.
Yeah. Start the bit again. Pilsy falling apart at the last 2 picks. No, I'm going for it. I'm going for it. So set the scene. It's 2020. Everyone is so excited for the draft, particularly Ottawa Senators fans. But COVID's happening. The draft is not going to be live this year. It's going to be so lame, just on a screen, nothing exciting, nothing interesting. The Ottawa Senators are making 2 of the biggest picks in franchise history. They got 3rd overall. They got 5th overall. Gary Bettman on the screen says, all right, with the 3rd overall pick, we have a graduate from Ottawa here to make the selection. And with the 3rd pick in the 2020 NHL draft, the Ottawa Senators choose this player. The correct response, who is Tim Stützle.
Yeah, Alex Trebek. That's actually a real good pick, Billsy. So I'm putting who is Tim Stützle on the graphic, but that's a fantastic one. And obviously, yeah, I feel like it was Alex Trebek's last public appearance before his untimely passing. So an absolute legend, and being able to, set the stage for the next era of Sens hockey. That's a nice dig, Pillsy. You might
good one, eh? Yeah, I was happy when I stumbled on that one. But Martian, I want you to chime in on this. But Ross, on the graphic, you got to put Trebek and then quotes. It's got to say Trebek. Who is Tim Stützle?
So you want the only quote here that has a name is Alex Trebek.
I don't think we can give you the name. You've got to put who is Tim Stützle. Yeah. People will know what that means.
Who is Tim Stützle. People will get that.
All right, I hope so.
You pulled that one. That was a great one. It didn't even make my list because it completely escaped me. Yeah, I like that one a lot. That one should have been higher, drafted higher. So I like that pick a lot. Yeah, because that was definitely epic.
Yeah.
And totally legal. I will allow it.
Yes, okay, good.
Yeah, there's nothing unconventional about that. That's a Sens quote.
Good.
Excellent. Okay, well, nice work, Pilsy. I thought you were going to definitely hand over the win there to someone else, but you were fine. You're just fine. I'm going also with the 2020 selection here. This one is from Coach DJ Smith, and I can't remember if it was pregame or postgame or what it was, but at the time there was a big movement among Sens, social media. It was, the sickos, and it was always that little character in the windows saying, ha, 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 yes. And, DJ Smith must have caught wind of this going viral, and he threw us a bone with an amazing soundbite of him going,
yes, ha, 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 yes.
Which he absolutely nailed, by the way. Like, he totally was in character for that. So I'm going to go with DJ Smith going, ha, ha, yes. I think that was absolutely hilarious that he did that, and something that you're not used to seeing.
Yes, ha, 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 yes.
That was pregame in a season that didn't have a whole lot of smiles. So
yes.
Good to see that for sure. No, I like that pick, Martian. I think it's a good pick. I don't know if it's a great pick, but it's a very good pick for sure.
It's one that plays to an era like that, the sickos era, and the yes, ha, 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 yes. That was a whole thing. So that's a good late round pick, Martian.
That's a good late round pick, but hey, he's got a chance to really put a stamp on this draft because Martian's up next here in the snake for the final pick of the best Senators sound bites.
I do. This is my final pick, and I think it's a pretty strong one, fellas. And I'm going back to a coach, and I think this is now my third pick from a coach, and this is Paul McLean, player 61.
Oh, that's good. I've got a Paul McLean one, but it's different. But
I know I have another one too for Paul McLean. But anyways, one of you guys will probably end up picking that one. This one here is an absolute gem of a classic. This one comes in the playoffs against the Montreal Canadiens. Rafael Diaz is the victim of this quote. Wouldn't even say his name. Obviously he threw a bit of a suicide pass up the middle to Lars Eller, which led to that massive hit from Eric Kariba, basically knocking Eller out cold and him bleeding all over the ice. And when asked about the hit after the game, Paul McLean basically said, well, player 61 is to blame for that play. And not mentioning the name of the other player was just completely disrespectful and led to, the quotes from Brandon Prust where he said that Paul McLean's just a fat bug-eyed walrus.
Oh, how many quotes do you want here?
Well, I'm just saying, the bug-eyed walrus one doesn't count because it didn't come from a Sens player, but it was in the aftermath. So I need to just give the story of my pick here. Player 61 is what's going on the graphic. Thank you very much. Nice. My team is complete.
All right. That's a good one. Yeah. And the thing is, that was a whole kind of controversial incident, but I don't like blaming the victim. So I won't blame Lars Eller, but that is, any hockey player will tell you, you cannot give a pass like that up the ice to a guy that's going to have his head down and he's going to get crushed. You got to look out there. Eric Greive is on the ice. The only thing he's going to do is crush guys out there. So yeah, that one does fall on number 61.
Yeah, great series, great moment. Everything about that series was unreal. So I like that one. That was one I didn't even have on my list, unfortunately. Kind of sad for me, honestly. But I'm happy with the Paul McLean one I do have, as long as Pilsy doesn't take it.
Oh, I'm up again? I got lost in the snake here.
Final pick.
Ooh. Okay. I'm stuck between. And do you guys have an issue with this? Because maybe I'll change it. But Sens game crowd chants. I believe that should count.
Yeah, I'll allow it.
Martian?
I don't know.
Yeah, what is it?
Pajot, 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 Pajot.
No, that's not a soundbite. It's not a soundbite,
Man, I'll show you the video.
Why don't we do best Sens chants then for one, and that can be your 1-1.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, soundbite is like a quote. I feel like it's got to be something someone says.
Someone with a microphone in front of them,
Yeah.
All right. Okay. I got it here then. Famous Ottawa Senators draft pick, first overall. After, in an interview, he's asked about it, and he says, I'm glad I got drafted first overall because no one remembers number 2.
Nice one. Yeah, that's a classic.
I mean, that is an all-time quote. Sure, I'm trying to pander to the older audience here, the Alexander days, but the all-time irony of that is, and it's the key part of the story.
Yeah, who was number 2? Chris
Pronger was number 2. Everybody remembers that. I mean, like, so to have the balls to be like, oh, thank God I'm not a loser going number 2. Hey, nothing wrong with finishing second. Finishing second is pretty good. But just being like, yeah, I don't know what I would have done if I wasn't first overall, because that is so lame being second. If, as Will Ferrell would say, if you ain't first, you're last. So that's pretty much the Alexander Daig mindset. So I'm going to finish off. I feel strong with that one. And yeah, nobody remembers number 2.
No, that's a great pick, except you're kind of doing yourself dirty because you're historically number 2 in this Ring of Honor. So I think that's going to do a little bit here because you are second overall. You're also drafting second overall in this draft. So I think all that together is
it's called satire, Ross. A little humor.
Okay. No, that's okay. So there's a few different ways that I could go here, but I've teased it so much, so I'll set the stage. Paul McLean, and this I found kind of strange. He had a press conference after he was fired, which I feel like not a whole lot of coaches get that opportunity. Sometimes they're left at the side of the road, like Troy Blount. But Paul McLean had a press conference, and in that press conference, he said, yeah, his daughter told him a Taylor Swift song and said, shake it off, just shake it off. That's not the quote, because then later in the press conference, some woman barges in and says, I love you, Paul McLean. And without skipping a beat, he looks up and goes, that's not my daughter. That is an all-time moment, just how quick he was able to do that. So
wait, your quote is that's not my daughter?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's hilarious.
Dude, watch the clip. It is one of the most hilarious videos on YouTube. It is so funny.
They were playing that one on SportsCenter for like a week or 2 after that. It was hilarious. Yeah, I like that pick, Ross. It was high on my list with the remaining quotes we had. I'm still happy with my team, but yeah, it made my list, and I'm glad it didn't go undrafted because that was hilarious.
By the way, you have to type in Paul McLean if you're going to find it on Google. If you type in "that's not my daughter," you'll get some Maury Povich, and that's
I was gonna say, yeah. And the thing I love best about that press conference, Ross, is him blankly reading the lyrics of the Taylor Swift song. Like I'm pretty sure he goes like, "A baker's gonna bake, a player's gonna play," and then he ends up going to shake it off. So. Yeah, quite an interesting press conference after you've just been canned.
Definitely.
Just even having a press conference as a fan is hilarious. So, yeah, it is on Sportsnet. It's got 8,000 views, so it's doing all right up there, and you can go check it out if you don't know that one. It's a bit of a deep cut, but it is absolutely hysterical just how quick he goes, that's not my daughter. So I like that one to finish. What do we have here? Let's go over each other's team, and then we'll get to some honorable mentions. All right, let's get to our list right here. I got them all up, and shout out Doodling Daryl once again. Didn't even put his signature on this. Is he not proud of it, or did he forget? Guy sent it to me at 5 o'clock in the morning. Absolutely love
Legend.
it. Beauty. My team, first overall, So You're an Expert, Andy Sutton. Then I've got the whole rant, the complete brickhead, just unbelievable stuff from Brady Tkachuk. Wonder what people think of the trade now. The Alex Burrows 2-goal performance after acquiring from Ottawa, and then Paul McLean, that's not my daughter. Pilsy, what do you got?
So my first pick was Alfie. Let me repeat that. Daniel Alfredson, Sens fans. Alfie, if you guys know him, you love him.
Did you see
probably not.
Did you see what Doodling Daryl did? He put the 11 banner in my hand because I keep drafting out.
Yeah, I mean, that's smart. That's smart.
It's common knowledge.
Then I got
subliminal messaging also.
What's that?
Subliminal messaging for the voters. Although they're not going to see our team, so it's fine.
Yeah, because the one that goes up on Twitter just says Team 1, Team 2, Team 3.
Yeah, is the one we've been using. Yeah. Then I got Guy Boucher, 4 goals. That's absolutely sick. Then I got Alex Trebek. Alex Trebek, everybody, Jeopardy host. You know him, you love him. Who is Tim Stutzla. And then Alexander Daig. Thank God I went first overall because nobody remembers who goes second overall.
Yep, and I've got on my team, I've got Pierre Dorion saying, we're a team. I've got Guy Boucher saying, rest is a weapon. I have DJ Smith saying, yes, ha, 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 yes. And I have Paul McLean saying, player 61.
Marshy, your first 3 picks combined are like 15 words. I love it. It's good.
Very clean, very clean looking on the graphic. I hope it draws the eye and gains some votes.
Yeah, player 61 was a bit more of an extended statement, but it can be summed up in player 61 for sure. But I like that. Boys, who do we miss? What do we got for honorable mentions?
I've only got one, so let me get it out. And I got a jet here pretty soon, so let me just get this one out for you guys. Nikita Filatov, Philly don't do rebounds.
Yeah, good one.
Yeah, Philly don't do rebounds.
The old broken English.
Yeah, that one's good. I like well, it's an extension of 4 goals. That's absolutely sick. But where Pajot goes, I thought I ate too much, man. I had 2 chicken parms today.
Yeah, I thought about doing 2 chicken parm for the last one. Yeah, most of my list is here. I got to take out all the chants. I had 4 different chants, so we're not doing chants. Clearly, that's against the rules. But I will give props to the TSN 1200 guys, Dean and Gord. Ross, you know this is one of my favorite ones. Clark MacArthur stings the bees, wins the game, wins the series. Hello, New York. That is all time.
Yeah, I like Dean going, oh, doctor, give me the needle after Jason Spezza goes around Sheldon Surrey, backhand upstairs. That one's
very memorable goal.
I mean, even just a classic Dean Brown scramble is pretty classic, too.
That
right?
honestly that would have played on the graphic, too.
Yeah, true. I'm surprised there's not more of that. I'm also surprised there's no Eugene Melnick quotes on here. I had another one that was on my list, and that was, going into the series, I think it was a Game 7 against the Leafs that the Sens end up losing, but going into the game, Eugene Melnick said, we're going to kill them, which is not great from an owner right before, a Game 7.
Yeah, I thought someone might have gone with we're going to move the team before the outdoor game. I mean, that was a wild quote.
Yeah, that was kind of the beginning of the end of it.
Yeah.
Started rebuilding that relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us know in the comments if you have any more. I feel like we nailed the top 12 at least, maybe the 15 that are out there, but let us know if we missed any. I don't know if there were any real Danny Heatley ones. I feel like a lot of it was rumors about what he would have said behind the scenes. I don't know if he said anything beyond that. He thought that his role was diminished. If we could have done the Ottawa Ghost, like the voiceover guy, then he would have had some great Danny Heatley ones there. But yeah, some awesome quotes there. And right now we're coming right down to the wire. It's 3 wins for me, 3 wins for Martian, 1 for Pilsy. Pilsy, you can run the table here and still win this thing. So let's keep it rolling. On Twitter at Sens Central. We'll put the poll out about noon on Sunday. So stay tuned for that. Hope everyone's having a fantastic weekend. And a reminder that you can subscribe to Martian Media. Check out what's coming to the Canadian Tire Center with the vlog going on at Martian Media on YouTube. And you can find Locked On Senators. Yesterday, we put out a bonus crossover edition with Locked On Vancouver Canucks. We had Mark Mathod on last week. More great content coming up next week as training camp continues. It's a Senators game day. We didn't even mention it. This is coming out Sunday. Senators game day at 2 p.m. Eastern. You can obviously follow at Levitan Martian at Sens Central for all of the great content throughout the game. But for today, we say goodbye. Another fantastic episode. And remember, guys, rest is a weapon.
Rest is a weapon. If I hear that one more time, I'll go crazy.
The Spezza laugh could have played as well.
I thought about doing that too, but I hate it so much I didn't want to bring it up. Yeah.
Have a great rest of your Sunday, everyone. For at Levitan Martian and Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been episode 8 of the Ring of Honor, presented by the Locked On Senators podcast and by Martian Media. It's your team every day.